Hey folks, welcome to Coffee with Job for Thursday, I believe it is. It's not just coffee. I'm having this kiwi fruit. I don't know, these kind of kiwi fruit, the yellow ones, are really, really nice. Anyway, we're looking today at when you don't feel good about yourself. And we're not just talking about a low opinion. I mean, there are people who have very high opinions of themselves, but we're talking here about just this sense of dread and a sense of rottenness. Now, Eliphaz goes on again to attack Job. Listen to me, chapter 15, verse 17, and I will explain to you. Let me tell you what I have seen. What the wise have declared, hiding nothing received from their ancestors, to whom alone the land was given when no foreigners moved among them. By the way, there's someone appealing to tradition and nationalism, I think, as well. He's just saying that this is the way it is. This is the way of your ancestors. All his days, he goes, the wicked man suffers torment, the ruthless man through all the years stored up for him. Terrifying sounds fill his ears. When all seems well, marauders attack him. He despairs of escaping the realm of darkness. He's marked for the sword. He wanders about for food like a vulture. He knows the day of darkness is at hand. Distress and anguish fill him with terror. Troubles overwhelm him like a king poised to attack, because he shakes his fist at God and vaunts himself against the Almighty, defiantly charging against him with a thick, strong shield. Well, part two will come tomorrow, but just think about what's being said there at the moment. The wicked person writhes in pain. His years are numbered. He's terrified. The destroyer comes upon him. He doesn't think that he will return from the darkness. He suffers torture, pain, fear, and guilt because he shakes his fist at God. Now you see exactly what Eliphaz is doing. He's saying the wicked have a miserable life full of dread, distress, and anguish. He's saying that they writhe in pain, and he's saying, Job, this is what's happening to you. You're writhing in pain, you're full of distress, you're full of anger, you're questioning God, you're shaking. And so, you feel this way because you are this way. You feel bad because you are bad. Is that true? Now, obviously, sometimes it can be. And sometimes people can be filled with guilt and remorse in this world. But sometimes you can have people who are wicked. They don't care two hoots. Their judgment day is coming. But what about people who feel dreadful about themselves? And yet, Job, like Job, he's got this pain, he's got this questioning, he's got this fear, he's got this anxiety, but it's not because he's been bad. 1 John 3:19 puts it very interestingly. This is how we know that we belong to the truth and how we set our hearts at rest in his presence. If our hearts condemn us, we know that God is greater than our hearts and he knows everything. In other words, we have to overcome our feelings. We live in a world where we're dominated entirely by our feelings. Now, I'm not one of these people who thinks that feelings are unimportant. I feel good. Yeah, that's great. And I think sometimes it's good to feel bad and to have conscience and all the rest of it. But you cannot allow your life to be guided entirely by your feelings, and you cannot allow your theology to be made up by your feelings. So, this is where the Christian gospel comes in, because we know that God is greater than our hearts. And we know that there is a Redeemer, and we know that there is somebody who loves us and has given himself for us. And because we know that, we then apply it to ourselves. Now, sometimes we don't feel it, and sometimes we may feel the opposite. Well, don't go by your feelings. Imagine if, your feelings weren't working that well, and you felt that your partner was not, your husband or your wife didn't really love you, but they did. You have to take into account you're married to them. And I think that's the same here, isn't it? We have to take into account what God has said and trust that and not our own feelings. All right, that's feeling bad. Tomorrow we'll come on to this last part of Eliphaz's speech. But God bless you. See you to then. I hope you feel good, but if you don't, still look to Christ. Bye.